Siddur as well as the Tanakh. That means that Shir HaShirim we're going to be talking about appears in both. So those are the first question we talk about. Shir HaShirim is...
Look in the back of the Siddur.
Is one of the Kifeh HaKodesh, one of the combination Megillot, of the 5 Megillot. And also, very uniquely, not like other Megillot, you could find it in the Siddur, which made it simple. You didn't have to go and find the Tanakh. So this already tells us something very special about Shir HaShirim. When would you look for? Where are the Siddur you looking for Shir HaShirim? Where are you looking for it? Before Kabbalat Shabbat usually. All right? Before Kabbalat Shabbat. In other words, the way
it's in the back.
In the back. When do we usually say? In the Erev Shabbat. Right. We usually say Shir HaShirim with, before, or just after Kabbalat Shabbat. This is our way of sitting the Shabbat.
It's okay. I'm sorry. Thank you very much.
You won't have too much time to study inside, read more than an hour for that. But then it belongs to the Tfilah Kabbalat Shabbat. Why does this appear on your sheet, which is certainly in preparation for Pesach? Otherwise, why are we here and not cleaning? We're preparing for Pesach. Then why does Shir HaShirim connect to not only Erev Shabbat, but also to the time we're in after Pesach? That's our next question. Since we're not a big lecture room, but a small group of women, we can ask questions and receive answers and have it more natural. Why do we do Shabbat or Pesach? Shir HaShirim is read during and connected to Pesach. There are many different minhagim, customs, as to when Shir HaShirim is read on Pesach. You just mentioned that we read it on Shabbat. There's one minhag, reading it on Shabbat, Chol HaMoed Pesach. There are sources that mention reading it on the first 2 nights even. In Galut, it was split into 2 and read on the first 2 nights. Some places read it the last 2 days, splitting it into 2. So you see that there are different minhagim, but that somehow we read it on Pesach. The minhag of the Mekubalim, of the mystics, of the Sfaradim, and of the Hasidim is to read it when everyone else is falling asleep, at the end of the Seder of Pesach, because that's the night when you really don't need to sleep at all. We've been up all the nights before anyway, so who needs to sleep? It's read, a very special custom, and that's the one I know it from, is reading it at the end of everything. And you'd be surprised how if you fall asleep with Chad Gadya, somehow you get the people all of a sudden, after the children, wake up and you tell them, let's sing it all together, they will. Even at 2 o'clock in the morning. So this is a new minhag for you. Try it and see. Okay? All right. So then our question would then go back to, why is Shir HaShirim read at some point during Pesach? The different minhagim of reading it in some places you can, if you're lucky. It's even read from a Megillah, the way that Rabbenit Esther is read all over. Some synagogues in Ashkenaz read, let's say, Megillat Ruth and Kohelet from a kosher Megillah, and then there are 2 blessings said, the Al-Mikra Megillah and Shechiyanu. Some places will even do that for Shir HaShirim, although that most places usually don't have a proper kosher Megillah. So either the people read it out loud together or every individual reads it on its own. If neither of these are done in the place that you're praying, then you just do it as women. You don't need to do it in the tzibur. At some point during Pesach, you read Shir HaShirim. The question is what?
That was the song they sang when they went to the sea, wasn't it?
To where?
When they crossed the river.
That's Shirat Hayam. So that will be part of our answer. Because the holiday of Pesach, many of the readings, most of the Torah readings and the Haftorah readings, the readings from the prophets, are all songs. Pesach is a holiday of shir, of shirah. There's even a very special pasuk that we talked about when we did the Haggadah, that this night is a night of song. This whole night is a night of song, a pasuk from Yeshayahu, Asher Yelachem Kilel Kadesh Chag. The song of the past, Shirat Hayam, will be in the beginning of the song that we're waiting to sing in the future. So that on all of Pesach we say, Shirat Hayam on the 7th day of Pesach. The Haftorah reading for that would be the Song of David, Shirat David, that appears at the end of the book of Shmuel. So that the readings for Pesach are connected to Shirah. Somehow Shirah is part of the spirit of Pesach. So that one of the things we read, if we read the Torah, Shirat Hayam, the prophets, Shirat David, that in Ketuvim, the third part of the Tanakh, we will be reading the ultimate of Shirah, which is Shir HaShirim. So that was the beginning of one of the many answers given. This is a holiday of Shir of Shirah. Perhaps then we develop that point. That Shir HaShirim is to be included in the Kitvei HaKodesh, the Holy Scriptures, the 24 Sfarim. To all of us, that seems quite simple and quite clear. Yes, you're not surprised, or there's no questions, or are there, or should we begin them? If it's simple to us, the sages in the Mishnah in Masechet Yadayim have a very long discussion as to Shir HaShirim. Should it be included or not included? Similar to a similar discussion about another one of the books of Ketuvim, scriptures. There are also similar questions about another one of the Megillot. Esther in a different way. Esther's at the very last minute. Is this still part of the written Torah, or is this the beginning of the oral Torah? But as to the content, the question is not so Kohelet. There is a very intense discussion as to whether Kohelet is a book that's proper and fitting with the spirit of the Tanakh. And there are many different opinions, and it's a heated discussion. And the end, Kohelet is also included. The answer is, there are many questions, many problems in Kohelet, but the redeeming moment is the final pasuk of Kohelet, where we say, Sof Tova HaKol Nishma, at the end of all our questions and answers and doubts in Kohelet. The final part of Kohelet is to fear and serve Hashem, because that is the purpose of man. Because of this closing pasuk, the whole book is included. A similar discussion is in relation to Shir HaShirim, because at first glance, and some people stay with that glance and don't get beyond that, Shir HaShirim seems to be a love story, a story of love, of poetry, a very detailed love story that might be nice, it might be fine to sing at a wedding, right? There's no problem with it. Only the question would be, is this to be included in the Holy Scriptures, in the Kitvei HaKodesh? And then there are many opinions. Some sages say yes, some sages say no. The final halacha is according to the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, where Rabbi Akiva states, this is a very famous phrase, I think you might remember it if I say it to you, Kol HaShirim Kodesh, V'Shir HaShirim Kodesh Kodeshim. All of the different songs of Tanakh are Kodesh, are holy. Shir HaShirim is not only proper and holy, but is also Kodesh Kodeshim. Now that's a very interesting statement, from a question of Bichlal to include it at all, to coming up with this overall statement that everything else is Kodesh, but this is not only proper, but Kodesh Kodeshim is something that we would perhaps spend some more time on together. Note, of course, that it's Rabbi Akiva who says so, and this is, of course, in parentheses, but if we know of the love of Rabbi Akiva and Rachel as an example of a love between man and woman, we can understand then that he is the one that could possibly say this statement. It's the same Rabbi Akiva who, if you remember, was killed of Kiddush Hashem, the Simut Nefesh, and the last words, the words he said was that he had been waiting all of his life, right, to be Moser Nefesh, to give his life over for Hashem, and with love, not out of pain, but out of love. And V'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. This is the most intensest moment of love. There's a pasuk in Shir HaShirim who will remind us of this story. Kasher kamavet ahava. Love is difficult and as hard as death. Who can say that in the most ultimate moment and talk about his love for Rachel and his love for the Torah? We know the love of Rabbi Akiva. We're not going to do all of that now. For the Torah, and the most ultimate moment of Mesirut Nefesh, giving his soul over for the love of Hashem. So that Rabbi Akiva is the one who can teach us in his own life of the Kodesh Kodeshim of Shir HaShirim. So that to understand Shir Hashir, we need to understand all of those levels at the same time because they're all one. The pure love. And in Shir Hashir, everything is pure and proper. It's not the love that one sees in the movies or the books, which is all of our Western cultural problem. When we read these words, we have a lot of other things and associations in our minds. But the love of Shir Hashir is a pure, if you read the whole story, they come to the mother's house, and she brings the chatan to the mother. There are no problems involved. It's a pure and proper love. It's also the love of the Torah, and it's the love of Hashem. And all of these loves somehow are connected to one. It's the love of an individual soul, of the chassid, of the soul towards Hashem in the individual level. It's the love of Knesset Yisrael for Hashem in the level of the cloud. The challenge is, and it's a challenge not easily met, is to be able to read and understand this song at all of those levels at the same time, and know that the spiritual love that Neshama feels for Hashem. And now the question would be, what is an example of what? Because in Shir Hashir it's clear that we have a mashal and a nimshal. In English, a metaphor, a story and a metaphor, right? It's not always simple to know, and I don't know if we have to define so clearly what is the mashal and what is the nimshal. Because if we say that all of the worlds are connected, then to understand truly the love of Hashem, one must understand the love between man and woman. And the source of love between man and woman is the love of the soul for Hashem, of Knesset Yisrael for Hashem, and even in a broader sense, in the sense of the Mekubalim, the mystics, all of the worlds, right? All of the olamot, all of the yearning of all of the worlds towards Hashem is the source of all loves as expressed in all of those different worlds. So that this is a Kodesh HaKodeshim of Shir Hashirim. Even the word Kodesh HaKodeshim, when you say something is Kodesh, you mean Kodesh is holy, meaning that one has been able to refrain from desecrating something. One has made something pure and taken it out of its I can't say holy, Kodesh. Whatever Kodesh is. All right. If I say something is Kodesh Kodeshim, I'm saying something even deeper than that. I'm saying that it covers everything, and that I'm taking every single thing and not just doing it in a permissible way, but I'm turning all of this physical, material, sensuous world itself into Kodesh Kodeshim. To turn all of the material and physical into Kodesh needs more than just Kodesh. It needs Kodesh Kodeshim. And that is what is done through the story of Shir Hashirim. So, by way of introduction. As very often, we can turn to Rashi, who in Shir Hashirim comes to help us try to make this challenging, often impossible connection between the mashal and the nimshal, the spiritual and physical. I would like to read to you the first few words of Rashi as his introduction to Shir Hashirim. You could find Rashi in Shir Hashirim. You would find it in the book Chumash Vayikra. Since it's read in the Torah reading of this period, you get a Mikot Gdolot with Rashi, and you go to the end of it usually, you'll be able to find Rashi at the end of Chumash Vayikra. And Rashi says, I'll read just a few sentences and I'll translate it, and we can discuss it afterwards if we need to. This is Rashi's Hakdama to Shir Hashirim. Achat diber Elokim, shtayim zu shamati. This is a pasuk that talks about the giving of the Torah. Hashem spoke one thing, one word. I heard two things. When we talk about Matan Torah, we're talking about first two commandments. Anochi v'Yeh, the first two commandments, I am Hashem, you have no other God, were said in one breath. Just as the commandment to keep Shabbat was said that you should be careful to keep the day of Shabbat, and we heard the second, the positive sense and the negative sense, to remember the Shabbat and also to keep from desecrating the Shabbat. In other words, every word of Hashem is the positive and the negative sense in one breath. And if you can hear two things when you hear one, then you can hear a limitless, infinite number of things. Right? Mi'ut rabim shnayim. Once it's two, it could be infinite. So that when we hear one thing from Hashem, or when we read one thing in Shir HaShirim, the meanings are at least two and more, and infinite. Mikra achad yotzei lekama te'amim. One pasuk can be explained in many different interpretations. But the sof tevar, ein lecha mikra yotzei midei pshuto u'mashmo. No pasuk is completely absent of its simple, direct interpretation. Rashi goes on to quote much from the Midrash. There's a whole Midrash called Shir HaShirim Rabbah. Just like we have the Midrash Rabbah on 5 books of the Torah, so do we have a whole Midrash on Shir HaShirim Rabbah. In the Midrash of Chazal, and in most of the commentaries until the time of Rashi, the interpretation of Shir HaShirim was one of nimshal, of metaphor, of allegory. The metaphor being Knesset Yisrael, Am Yisrael, the love of Am Yisrael for Hashem. That was the most accepted, and if you have any chance to look at the Midrash Rabbah, and if you don't, and this is a summary for you in one sentence, most of the Midrash talks about all of the different moments of the connection of Am Yisrael to Hashem as the different expressions in Shir HaShirim. And if you think about it, that Midrash is perhaps the most closest to the Pshat. We'll talk about it first after we finish Rashi. Rashi, even though he will bring in his commentary much of the Midrash, his first comment is, yes, it's the Midrash, yes, it's the allegory, but no pasuk ever is absent of its simple interpretation. So that, even though the prophets spoke their words b'dugma, b'mashal, b'mishal as a metaphor, so Rifnei Hashem hadugma al ofaneh v'astara. One must, of necessity, explain the dugma, the story itself, in its order as much as possible. Then he goes on and talks about the Midrash, that talks about, well, if we're talking about the story of Am Yisrael, with whatever knowledge you have of Shir HaShirim, what is the story of Shir HaShirim in Pshat, and how is that the story of Am Yisrael? What's the story? in a nutshell, in a moment. What is the story of Shir HaShirim? You have to summarize it.
The love, the relationship between Hashem and Am Yisrael, or between man and woman.
Yes. And what's in one sentence, how does the plot run? That's the thing, that's it. What's the plot all about? Just very briefly. What happens in the story? Is the love that knows happiness and togetherness, or does it know?
Probably disappointment, and then
They keep losing each other. Like she's looking for him.
All right. It's an amazing story of a search for love, of a longing and a yearning for a loved one, of meetings. There are meetings. She does find him, he does find her, but then again, they are lost to each other. That is the thing. If you read it, just even in the English somewhere, even before Pesach, with a beautiful taste for you, finding and losing, and mostly yearning and describing. So that, starting with the Midrash and Rashi and the Malvi, the description here is trying to explain who are the two lovers. That's one of the questions. Who are the two lovers? And when do they meet? And when do they part? And why do they part? And how do they meet again? And if, again, I'm assuming that we've read it or we will read it, in the Pshat, there are so many different what? Someone who's read it. Different descriptions. The Kala, the woman, is described in many different terms. The Chatan is also described. He's described as a ro'eh, a shepherd. He's also described, love term do, my beloved. But he's a shepherd and he's a king both at the same time. And the Kala changes from very many different states, all of the different states of a woman. She's a young girl. She's most of the time a ra'aya, a companion, a beloved, a betrothed. Before that, she is a sister. Perhaps if you open the phrase that you might, if I have in front of you. But you don't have the all right. Achoti kala. First she is achoti, sister. Then she is kala. In another place before, there's also mention of imo. In chapter 3, there's also mention of the mother. In other words, there are all of these moments together. The daughter, the sister, the love-mate and companion, and even the mother. All of the different moments of womanhood are all mentioned in Shir HaShirim. This Nimshal, this is the source for all of the descriptions of the prophets and all of their descriptions, where in different chapters the prophet will call Knesset Yisrael, Yechezkel, which is especially appropriate to our period. In the Haggadah, Knesset Yisrael is described as the moment of birth, which is Yetziat Mitzrayim, is quoted in the Haggadah itself. She is at the moment of birth, as every one of us is first of all a daughter, a baby. This is the description of Prophet Yechezkel. This is the description quoted in the Haggadah, because Yetziat Mitzrayim is looked upon as the birth of Am Yisrael. Therefore, Knesset Yisrael here in the feminine description is first of all a baby, daughter, baby girl at birth, and the whole description of Yechezkel is describing that moment of birth very physically, very much in detail, of washing off the blood and swaddling and clothing and feeding Knesset Yisrael at birth. This is the first moment. This is the description of the prophet Yechezkel, even before the moment of Shir HaShirim. Shir HaShirim is the source of this. The next moment is Achoti, the sister. What is a sister or brother-sister relationship in comparison to a love relationship between man and woman? There's a difference. What would be the difference? How would you compare? How would you describe the difference between Achoti and Chala? A different type of love. How would you describe love of brother and sister?
Camaraderie.
And a lot of what?
Camaraderie.
A common. Comrade. All right. Everyone has another one?
Having a common mother.
All right, it's a natural relationship. It's a natural, almost instinctive relationship. It doesn't have to be proven to the brother and the sister. It doesn't have to be explained to anyone else outside. There are these moments where the two beloveds would like to have that kind of love between them. It would make things very simple and solve a lot of problems. If we compare, as Shir HaShirim does, love to different natural properties, if the love of Shir HaShirim is called Esh, on the Esh it's called Shalhevet Ka, the fire of Hashem, is the love of Shir HaShirim. If love is passion, is fire, but then the love of a brother and a sister is not fire, but water. Running, natural stream of water. That's the love. A calm, constant relationship, right? Not with passion, but sure, steady, calm, natural. Those are some of the descriptions in Shir HaShirim. Those are some of the descriptions of the prophets. The ongoing theme, of course, in Shir HaShirim, as is in all of the prophets when talking about Knesset Yisrael in the feminine, is, of course, what are the words that are used here and the words used by the many prophets? Come up with some of the words. I want you to use the words of Shir HaShirim. Well, we know. In Hebrew or in English, if you like. The words of a beloved, right? Of Isha. But there are many words for Isha. Anyone find them in Shir HaShirim himself? I'm doing this by a whole series of lectures. All right. We have Yonati, Tamati, Maidav, my perfect one, Rayati, my soulmate, many different moments. These are the different moments expressed by the prophets as well. In Shir Shirim, only those positive moments appear. The prophets use this positive relationship when it is distorted by Am Yisrael. The prophets can also use the opposite of that love moment, and the unfaithfulness of Am Yisrael is, in the words of the prophet, a moment of znut, of being unfaithful to Hashem, so that in reprimanding Am Yisrael as the beloved, when she is unfaithful, she is called a zonah. But that is left for the reproach of the prophets. Shir HaShirim does not leave us any of this reproach. So what we've done here is, with Rashi, as always, holding our hands and showing us the way. If we go through the different levels of Shir HaShirim, we can from there get to the nimshal, to the allegory, holding on to both at the same time. If Shir HaShirim describes the beloved in many different senses, and the dove also as the shepherd and the king, where are the places that they meet or that they talk about? The names of the places. Shir HaShirim takes place very clearly within Eretz Yisrael. If we just come from Megillat Esther, that is the Megillah of Galut, we come to Shir HaShirim where this is the natural. All right, there's a word that I don't translate. Someone say it for me. I don't even know if it's
Diaspora.
Shir HaShirim is very clearly connected to the note, to the scenery, the natural scenery of Eretz Yisrael, and there is a list of tens, even hundreds of, someone who's read it, of different places, and also different flowers and trees and wildlife, all within Eretz Yisrael. The places that you've mentioned, which places are they? En Gedi is mentioned, and also the Chermon. Wait, any of us who've been on Tilim knows that to get from En Gedi, there's Chermon, there's Lebanon. To get all the way up there when there's not transportation the way we know, even with transportation we know how long it takes. So it's covering all of the city of Eretz Yisrael from the south of En Gedi to the north of Chermon. They are a very busy pair. If they're jumping all over Eretz Yisrael, it has the streams of water, it has the mountains, it has the valleys. There's also the Midbar that's mentioned, the desert is mentioned. So all of these so many diverse and different moments will have to tell us that there's something here beyond the story itself. The story is there, and there's too much happening in the story to remain only the story itself. If we've mentioned the comparison between Megillat Esther and the Galut, the diaspora, and the opposite, which is Shir HaShirim, so much naturally Eretz Yisrael, there's a comparison though of Shir HaShirim and Esther, where the same thing happens in these two Megillot that happens only in these two Megillot and nowhere else in the Tanakh. Talking about not about the scenery, but something even much more essential and basic. Something that does not appear in Megillat Esther and in Shir HaShirim. Shem Hashem. Okay, we know this from Megillat Esther. The name of Hashem does not appear explicitly. Right? Does not appear explicitly in the story of Megillat Esther. And so too, in all of Shir HaShirim that is called Kodesh HaKodeshim, there is not one time that the name of Hashem in the many different possible, but not only not the name, but the Rachum, Chanun, even the attributes of Hashem, none of these appear in Shir HaShirim. So you've got something that is similar between them, but the answer will not be, or will it be, the same answer to begin with. What's the answer that we gave for Megillat Esther? Why does Megillat Esther not have the name of Hashem in it? And again, these are two Megillot that are at the end, whether content-wise or chronologically. There's a question, do these belong or do they not belong? It's a very subtle moment, like a split of the hair. Is it in? And if it's in, it's Kodesh Kodeshim. And if it's not, it's just not part of Kippur HaKodesh. Why is Shem Hashem not appearing in Megillat Esther? The simple answer, first of all, Pshat. Why?
Because it's in the diaspora?
It's in the diaspora, it's in the galut, and for many different reasons, whether the people reading it will not understand, be able to relate to properly, or the different explanation that Hashem in the galut is behester. Behester Panim, Hashem is in the galut and he's there, but he's hiding from us, and we really can't see him. Everything seems to be taking place according to the Goral, the lot. So Hashem in the galut is hiding from us. That hidden sense of Hashem is the sense given to us in Megillat Esther, although, right, we know that explicitly Hashem is not there. In the revealed sense he's not there, but the secret is that every time it says Melech, every time the word king is used, when you say the word king, you can be referring to the king at hand. But if it's talking only about Achashverosh, many times the Megillah says the king Achashverosh. When it uses the word king alone, the secret is, oh yes, it's the king, that he's there all right, but who is making the king act the way he is? It's really Hashem that is acting behind the scenes. He's putting on the mask of the king Achashverosh, but that's only the secret, that's the hidden sense. What about Shir HaShirim? Can't be the same answer, that it's so much Eretz Yisrael. What would be the answer in Shir HaShirim?
So, you know, Shir HaShirim is not there explicitly the whole point of the symbol.
At the first level, again, we have to shop it. At the first level, since Shir HaShirim, just like Megillat Esther, could be read at first glance, and you might get stuck there as a mere love story, it's better not to use the name of Hashem in these kinds of descriptions. That's at first level. Beyond that, since the nishal, the metaphor, is so much a part of the story, that sometimes it's so much there, that you don't need to use the name at all. The whole story is the story of the love for Hashem and Am Yisrael, so that you don't need a specific mention of Hashem's name. Whereas in other books, there are many different things happening, and Hashem is doing this and this and this, and you say that it is Hashem. If we take the mishal, the metaphor, which is so clearly the message of the story here, we don't even need to use the name of Hashem. You see how it's connecting to almost opposite explanations. Where if you're only in the story, you don't see Shem Hashem. Right? If you're in the metaphor, you don't need to say Shem Hashem. If you're trying to connect the two, as Rashi tells us we can, then it is all Shem Hashem. The pure love of the pshat and the metaphor of Knesset Yisrael. It's all the story, it's all Shem Hashem. Perhaps, if we look at the story itself, could we understand, and this would connect us to Pesach, what are the moments? In a love story, there are moments where the love is being yearned for. There's a momentary meeting between the loved ones. Most of the time, it's a search for that love. That's the summary of Shir HaShirim in 1 second. If we think about, if you would like to open the story and look inside, can you, describing the story of Am Yisrael, can you come to a description, an historical description of those moments of yearning, meeting, and searching for the love? What are those moments in the story of Am Yisrael? Perhaps we did first historically, then we can find the psukim afterwards. What would be the first moment of a connection between Am Yisrael and Hashem? Historically. The story of Mitzrayim. Right? That would then be the answer, perhaps, that we began with, why do we read Shir HaShirim on Pesach? We have one answer. Right? So we sing songs. Pesach is a house of songs. But why? Because the first song of the love of Hashem and Am Yisrael is sung for the first time on Leil Pesach. So the first chapter, the first whole description of Shir HaShirim is talking about that first love, in the words of the prophet Yirmiyahu, describing Chesed Ne'urayach, the love of the youth of Am Yisrael, of the daughter, the sister who becomes the young bride. Where do they meet? The Midrash, now we would be working with the Midrash. The Midrash will show us different moments. There's one moment in Kriyat Yam Suf, where there's a very clear, we know, the splitting of the sea. where Hashem reveals himself very clearly. Everyone, men, women, children, babies not even born, everyone sees Hashem very clearly. That's the first really direct moment after Yetziat Mitzrayim. So Shirashim also mentions that moment of the splitting of the sea, that is afterwards on the 7th day of Pesach, sung in Shivat Hayam. The next moment of the meeting is, of course, between Hashem and Am Yisrael. Har Sinai, Matan Torah. So the Midrash will find the giving of the Torah. Okay, the giving of the Torah, Matan Torah. And there are psukim, if we do this together next year, the psukim in the Midrash, where Matan Torah, the giving of the Torah, is described in the story here. Another moment at Har Sinai after Matan Torah is what? Before the at Har Sinai itself, after Matan Torah, what's the next moment of a vision, of a revelation, of a clear moment that Hashem is revealed? People see very clearly. It's not believing and hearing. It's all of the senses. It's a complete knowledge of Hashem. When is that?
That was when God appears, when the sanctuary is
in the Mishkan, the sanctuary. Right? The next moment is the Mishkan. And perhaps this is what we would look together at. If you have a Tanakh, there's an extra Tanakh here. You have the Tanakh, it's in the first chapter. Towards the end, it's Aleph, and you make note of it and look for it afterwards. Aleph, Pasuk, and Gimel. Thror Hamor Dodili Ben Shaddai Yali. Thror Hamor Dodili Ben Shaddai Yali. Parak Aleph, Pasuk, and Gimel. That the Midrash and the commentaries tell us we are talking about the moment. There's one moment, and again, if we had time, we would look at the moment in the text. There's a moment where the Anan, the cloud of the glory of Hashem, comes down on the Mishkan and the tabernacle. It's the moment that they're all waiting for. It's the moment that's taking place on just this past few days, on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, where after preparing and all of these last months, preparing and waiting for the Shekhinah, the divine presence, to come down, finally on the first day of Nisan, the Shekhinah does come down, and they see the Anan, the glory of Hashem, coming down on the Mishkan. And this is the day of the dedication, Chanukah Mishkan. This is the pasuk that's described here in their meeting and coming together in the first moment, the first instant. If this is the first moment, then if the story tells us about the meeting and the departure of the yearning, the next moments will also be moments of the Shekhinah coming down, the divine presence coming down, and then we would historically go to the next moment. If the first description here is the Mishkan, the coming down of the divine glory to the Mishkan, the next meeting between the two loved ones is not a meeting. There are many meetings, but a clear, with no partitions at all, with no doubt, a clear moment, just like Matan Torah, just like the cloud. Everyone sees the cloud. Everyone feels Hashem there. What is the next such moment historically? We've done this many times in Haftarah, classes together.
When they're crossing the Jordan.
Crossing the Jordan is a moment like crossing the sea, right? So we could look for, and we could find, as we do in the Hallel. We're talking about songs that are sung during Pesach. We've mentioned this, and we need to. Hallel is said all of the days of Pesach. It's also said, right? We did this in our Haggadah class. When is the Hallel also very specially said? And it's the only time of the year that we say that they have the Hallel at night. Part, the end, the culmination, the climax of the first part of the Haggadah and the beginning of the second part of the Haggadah after the Suda is the reciting of the Hallel. At the end of the Haggadah, as the climax, we say the first two chapters of the Hallel. We then eat the Suda and finish saying the Hallel after our Suda. There are two very unique moments. This is the only night of the year where Hallel is said at night. We say Hallel on the different holidays, but only during the day. How can and why do we say, can we sing the praise, sing the Hallel, which is the Shirah of the Hallel, at night? Because this night is and full of light just like the day. The night of the Geulah turns the night into day itself. And if you're up all night, it means it's daylight, right? There is no darkness, there is no galut any longer. Everything is light. This moment of Pesach is like the light of the future, where you can clearly see Hashem even at night. And that's the Hallel that we say on the night of Pesach. So then this is the ultimate of Shira, where every day is Hallel, but not only the days are days of Hallel, the night is also a night of Hallel. Okay? So similar to Kriyat Yom Suf, we have the Yardei, but the next moment is like the moment of the Shekhinah coming down, the divine presence coming down to the Mishkan, to the sanctuary. The next such moment is, later, the Haftarahs of the part of this, the Torah readings of Shemot describing the building of the Mishkan, all talk about what is the prophet reading. What did we read in the prophets when we read the Torah readings of the Mishkan?
Solomon's dedication.
All right, the building of the first Beit HaMikdash, where we have the same. Remember, we have the same moment. King Shlomo Solomon builds the Beit HaMikdash for many, many years, for some 7 years. Before him, King David prepared all of the materials, all of the gold and silver and timber, Arzeh HaLebanon, the cedars of Lebanon. David even prepared a blueprint, the whole plan, which is what we need now, is a blueprint for building the Beit HaMikdash, and all of the guards and the Kohanim and the Levi'im. David, all of his lifetime, prepared for the Mikdash. Shlomo spent 7 years building the Mikdash itself, bringing materials from all over the world, workers, thousands of workers to build the Mikdash. All of this preparation is a description of the yearning that is most of the Psukim of Shir Shirim, waiting, preparing, anticipating. And then the final moment where the Shekhinah does come down, which is a similar pasuk. It's in Melachim Aleph, Kings 1, chapter 8, where after preparing himself for so many years, 400 years even, from the moment of entering Eretz Yisrael into the building of the Beit HaMikdash, it takes 400 years. So all of those 400 years can be looked at as moments of yearning anticipation. These are the psukim of Shir HaShirim. And then the Shekhinah comes down. This is the pasuk, if you'll make note of it and look at it on your own later. It's in Perek Gimel, pasuk Dalet, where finally she says, I have finally found my beloved. I hold on to him and I do not leave him until I bring him into the house of my mother, into the room of my birth. That's the second moment. That's the first Beit HaMikdash, where the Shekhinah comes down again. Now you can continue, and there's a party, which is, of course, the destruction, the diaspora, Churban Bayit Rishon, the exile to Babel. The next, that's all of those years of yearning, and she's receiving beatings, she's suffering. The third moment of reunion will then be historically the building of the second Beit HaMikdash in the time of Ezra and Nehemiah, or before that, in the time of the Zerubbabel, the building of the second Beit HaMikdash. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. What I said now in Perek Gimel, Pasuk Dalet, is the second Beit HaMikdash. The first Beit HaMikdash is a Pasuk even before that. Excuse me, will you make the correction? The second moment of meeting, which is the first Beit HaMikdash, is in Perek Beit Pasuk Vav. And the description is, Smolo tachat v'roshi v'yamino techafkeni. His left hand is underneath my head, his right hand does caress me. That's Perek Beit Pasuk Vav, that's the first Beit HaMikdash. And Perek Gimel, Pasuk Dalet, Achasti kebeiti b'beit imi, I hold on to bring him to my mother's house, is the second Beit HaMikdash in the time of Ezra. Should I write it down? Are you following me? I can give it to you afterwards written down. Should I write it down? Is it fine? No. So, if this is the third meeting, what would it be? And then afterwards, of course, if you follow the plot and read the story, do they stay together? Again, there's a split, there's a search for each other. They don't stay together for long. What might that mean historically? I have to tell you how many times there are. That will give you the hint. There are 2 more times. This Ezra will be the third. There's a fourth and a fifth meeting with yearning and suffering and searching in between. So we have to look for the fourth and the fifth. If Beit Sheni, if the second Beit HaMikdash in the time of Ezra is the third meeting, what might be the fourth, and of course what will be the fifth? So that you. So what was the fourth?
Here we are.
No, something should already happened. The fifth is what we're in the midst of. The fourth would be historically what? Oh, right, that's certainly, but that's the preparation for it. A clear moment, just like the Mishkan and the first Mikdash, the second Mikdash. When is there a severance? When is there a departure in the time of the second Beit HaMikdash? When does the Shekhinah very clearly leave the second Beit HaMikdash? Before its destruction. There's a moment, you all know it. What happened towards the end of the time of the second Beit HaMikdash, where it's clear to everyone there's no Shekhinah there for so many years, and then the Shekhinah comes back again. What happens towards the end of the second Beit HaMikdash? If we do this in the sense of the four nations that take Am Yisrael to Galut, it's first Mitzrayim and then Babel, right? Mitzrayim, Babylon,
Rome.
Before Rome, yes, Greeks, Yavan, and we all know, right? We all know of the decrees of the Greeks and the desecration of the Beit HaMikdash in the time of the Hashmonaim, of the Maccabees, where the Beit HaMikdash turns into a place of idol worship, where there's an image of Zeus, where the altars becomes an altar for Avodah Zarah. That's clearly a moment of the site is raised, all of the Kodesh. There's nothing left there except for the place that retains its kedusha. But for all purposes, it's an actual destruction of the Beit HaMikdash in the times of the Yevanim. And the rededication in the times of the Hashmonaim is such a great moment as if it's being rebuilt again. That's why we have a whole Chag that commemorates that rededication. So the return of the Shekhinah in the time of the Maccabees by the sons of Hashmonaim is the fourth moment, is the fourth meeting together. And that's the pasuk that begins Perek Hey, Bati legani achoti kala. I have come to my garden, my bride, my sister, my bride. Then it goes on. That pasuk is a description of the rededication in Kislev, the rededication in the time of the Hashmonaim. That's chapter 5. We have chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8 that are all described in the yearning of the last 2,000 years from the moment of the destruction in the times of the Romans. And that this is, of course, the most detailed, the most difficult. The pain, it's not only the yearning, but the pain is the strongest. The time is the longest. We know what we're talking about. These last 4 chapters, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, are describing our long, long galut. If after the first separation between the first and the second Beit HaMikdash, it was 70 years, and 70 years of parting between lovers is so long and so difficult, how long is our 2,000 years? So that this is the whole description, the last 4 chapters of Shirim, the yearning, the searching, the momentary meetings, but yet not the complete coming together. That is what we are waiting for now, the 5th building of the Beit HaMikdash. There's a description in chapter 8, Perek Chet, Pasuk Gimel. Perek Chet, Pasuk Gimel, using the same words used for the first Beit HaMikdash. Smolot tachat roshi, v'minot tzechakeni. His left hand underneath my head, his right hand caresses me. This is the description, the final description of the third Beit HaMikdash. And if we're talking about Nisan Pesach, then this is the time, just as, this is by way of summary, just as the first meeting, the first moment revolves upon the period of Pesach, and it starts from Rosh Chodesh Nisan and Leil Pesach itself, so to this time of year, now, these very days, when we're so busy doing so many different things, we have to turn everything we're doing into, just as here, the mashal is so pashut. It's a simple world, sensuous world around us, yet this is Kodesh HaKodeshim. So to everything we're doing in these days we can turn into Kodesh HaKodashim, and then on Leil Pesach we're close to it now. Yes, we're here, so we're very, very close. We can see him peeking from the crevices in the Kotel. There's a pasuk, right, that he's peeking over the wall, but he's not there. He's on the other side. So that during the month of Nisan, on Pesach itself, we can attain Smolot HaToshi V'Minot HaCheni, the building of the third Beit HaMikdash, B'Meirat B'Yadeinu. If you want me to write it down, if you didn't get this one, I can write them down here. You want to write it down now?
I had a question. You put the whole thing together, but I'm not sure. Yeah. And I'm not sure to say, I flew to London and I couldn't get any weather very well. You know, it was just better myself.
I'm very grateful, Chana. I was telling them it's a